Welcome everybody to another episode of Community Clash, your competitive one-stop shop. Tonight we have for you a great match. I am your host Torkz for the night. We have two casters with us tonight, and those casters are Luperza.
Hello.
And Kid Riot.
Hola, señores y señoras.
And as always, we have our great production lead, Mr. Antithasys.
Hey guys, how you doing?
So, without further ado, the outfits that are participating tonight for the NC, we have UxB Gaming. United by Brotherhood. I like that name. And for the VS, we have NNG, No Nonsense Gamers. Tonight's rules are the normal rules. Each match will consist of two 45-minute halves. Each team will consist of 24 players. The team at the end of both halves with the most points wins. The point system works as this. Every single point base taken is 2 points. Every 3-point base taken is 3 points. And if you capture the home team's base, it's 5 points. Tonight's match will take place on the lane we have for Esamir. That'll be for Season 1 when we start on March 5th. The Esamir lane goes from Urier Biolab to Not Amp Station. Small rule alterations for tonight that will be going into Season 1 that have been tested in the last several weeks are MBTs are allowed on Esamir now, but you can only pull them from your team's warp gates. If you feel like going back to your warp gate to pull an MBT all the way across the continent, have at it. The starting positions and prep for the teams are as such changed. Each team can now start anywhere in the starting base hex they would like. It can be anywhere within their starting home hex. They cannot be within vehicles, but they can start anywhere within the hex. And no vehicles, aside from the one galaxy that each team has provided at the beginning of each half, will be allowed, to be at the beginning at least. That being said, we have a quick lane preview for you of the Esamir lane, brought to you by SteelDragon. Thank you, sir, for this. Kick it off. Alrighty, thank you again for that. We're going to go ahead and introduce our outfits again and let them talk about themselves really quickly. First off, as I said, we have UxB, Gaming United in Brotherhood, and from them we have Kai McMahon. Welcome, sir.
Yo.
So let's hear a little bit about UxB, how you guys are all about, and why you're participating in Community Clash tonight.
Sure. Well, UxB, like you said, stands for United by Brotherhood. True to our name, we're a tight-knit group with a focus on a competitive play style. That being said, we're always looking for developed players that want to enjoy a team-based environment and want to join our ranks. So you can check us out and apply at uxbgaming.com. We're also fortunate tonight to be joined by many members from 4Ace, who is another Matherson NC outfit. And without them, we wouldn't have been able to participate in this. And we're very fortunate to have them. And we're all very much looking forward to this opportunity. And we'll be fighting as hard as we can against a respectable outfit, NNG.
Nice. I like that. Very well prepared. And without further ado, he just mentioned NNG, and that is No Nonsense Gamers. And from them, we have Jamal. Welcome, sir.
Hey, it's Torkz.
So let's hear the same thing. What is NNG all about? We've had you guys on before, but it's great to see you back again. And tell us why you're participating tonight and how you plan on being victorious.
Well, starting off, NNG is a larger community, a broad game, go across a broad spectrum of games, not only PlanetSide, but other ones, mainly PlanetSide, though. We try to focus on the more admirable aspects of gaming, trying to leave team killing and all the negative side of gaming out of our community. We focus on having a very mature core of gamers. We also are very excited to be on Community Clash tonight. It's an honor to be your guinea pigs once again for the preseason. And we plan on having a very sportsmanlike fight here with our good friends UxB. Sorry, I keep saying UBX, I don't know why. But yes, we are very excited. We are ready to win, and we are ready to give it our all.
Well, that is great to hear. Well, that being said, everybody, why don't you guys go ahead and get back to your outfits and redeploy. We are going to be starting in 2 minutes to play, and we'll be kicking it off, and you guys will be watching all the fun on the Esamir lane. Okay. Again, we have our two casters tonight. Luperza, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and who you're going to be casting tonight?
All right, I am the community manager for PlanetSide 2, but while I'm here, I'm just a regular old gamer like you guys. I play tons of games, and you can check out my website, margaretcrone.com, if you want to learn more. And tonight I will be hanging out with the NNG folks at No Nonsense Gamers, so we'll see what they have in store for us. I hope this is going to be a great fight.
All right, why don't you give us a 1-minute broadcast across the server, and while you're doing that, let's hear a little bit about Kid Riot and who he'll be casting tonight.
Hey, I'm Kid Riot. I write articles, I do community stuff, and I enjoy playing PlanetSide 2. And tonight I'll be casting UxB, and I'm pretty excited to see some native NC outfits participating. So we'll see how it goes.
Alrighty. That being said, for those of you that haven't tuned in before, Community Clash is basically a homegrown, community-driven, competitive show. I mean, for lack of better terms. We have you as the community asked that we do something 24v24 for you guys to play and enjoy for teams that are a little bit smaller. So we have since set up a match for you guys so that we can do it on a competitive level. We have a lane combat system. There's an Endar lane and Esamir lane. And as of tonight, I think they're going to be an Amherst lane once I get some lanes figured out for Amherst this weekend. Congrats on the Amherst reveal. So can't wait for that. That being said, I'm just Torkz, and I start the show with some help from my buddy Deringer and Tom, and Tom is Noxx. So we appreciate all the help from SOE, and we're going to have a great season starting up on March 5th. The winners of that season will receive an in-game decal. So hopefully they'll be sporting it around, so people will get an idea what the show is all about. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the show, and we're 30 seconds to the start of the match. We also have a great bracket for you that we're going to be presenting to you. That is being shown now for the U.S. Those are our first 4 matches for our first 4 weeks of play. That'll then be weeded down to obviously the semifinalists and then the finalists. At the end of the grand finals for the U.S. and the EU, we're going to kick off to the EU real quick, and I'll tell you at the end part. So now you have the EU. So with that being said, once these 2 brackets are complete for season 1, we are going to have the EU versus the US. So you're going to have some cross-continental murder there. It's going to be great. I can't wait to have that happen. So it's an 8-week stint we'll have for these matches. That being said, we're about to kick off the match. So enjoy the show. Here we go.
All right, and it looks like NNG is hopping in their galaxy and heading over to the first point. We have some Reavers hopping in here trying to get a few pot shots off, but it looks like they're continuing onward.
Yeah, they're both racing to get the cap on the point on the forward basis. We'll see who gets it first.
NNG's at the point. They are at A.
It looks like
bunkering inside of the point at the moment.
Were they able to get a cap off? Because it looks like geological survey is flipping.
Yeah, they're on it. So they have quite a crew here. Their galaxy's still hanging out. They're setting up turrets within, holding all the points. They have some proxy mines that they're setting up next to the doors here. We have quite a few Reavers trying to come in here, but there's still a Scythe and a Galaxy trying to do work, as well as a Liberator.
I think something to note that was pretty interesting about that first pull is that the NNG Galaxy actually got to the forward base before the NC Reavers got to theirs. So they were a little slow on their pull there.
UxB is pulling in a Galaxy of their own. It's on fire. I don't know how long it's going to last here, though. Quite an air fight going on between a few Reavers and Scythes and the Liberators and the Galaxies that are going on right here. Looks like the Reavers were able to take out the one Scythe that was here, but NNG still has their Galaxy available.
Yeah, not only the Galaxy, but they got about 8 people on point, and they're holding pretty strong. They've got Maxes here and some good support.
And they have a Sunderer as well. Their Sunderer is set up right next to the ammo depot silo here.
Yeah, it looks like UxB is actually pulling back to Esamir to pull some vehicles to try and take care of these Sunderers. Meanwhile, they're pushing with about 4 people on point, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to need some more people here.
UxB was able to take out a few soldiers here and there. Looks like the NNG squad that is inside of this A point is getting taken out slowly. But their medics are continually trying to get them up as quickly as they possibly can without putting themselves in danger. Yeah, they're just peeking out of the building, trying their best to revive this poor guy here, but I don't think it's gonna really work out for them. I mean, this is the thing with this certain, you know, building that we've seen multiple times here. This building is so tiny that people just rush in nonstop. Oh, we had a revive grenade go off, but it wasn't able to get them all up. UxB was able to take them right down right after they were revived.
Yeah, UxB
Max
was able
is
to
trying to stay alive, but he's just unable to, and he gets taken out. And the point is going to be secured.
Yeah, it was a really good push from UxB there, but they still have to deal with that Sunder.
Yep, NNG is on their way back into the point. They're pushing their way up the hill right from their Sunderer. And they even have some vehicle support here as well. They brought in a couple lightnings to secure this. And it looks like UxB is pushing in a few soldiers here and there, trying to take out this Sunderer as well as they can.
Yeah, they're not doing too bad of a job here, but right now it's heavily in NNG's favor. I mean, they're on the offensive. They have UxB kind of defending pretty hard here.
Yeah, they're pushing out. They're utilizing these buildings here, the corners, the walls here, and trying to push out and trying to get through here. But they're not gonna. I don't think UxB is gonna be able to hold this. They're pushing in pretty well here.
Yeah,
this is very interesting because we have this outdoor fight that's going on right now.
You are better than this. Show them.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty interesting because UxB does have a couple of vehicles out here. They have their own Sunder, but they're not pushing on the base to try and take out the enemy Sunder.
Yeah, I haven't seen them make a push to the Sunder. I did see a few rockets getting pot-shotted off to the Sunderer, but it wasn't able to do really that much. And NNG is taking the point back. Just saw another revive grenade get tossed out. They have quite a few maxes here, being supported by some engineers. And I'm wondering what UxB is going to be doing here. I'm seeing them rush out of here with a couple guys at a time. I'm not seeing any major pushes and advancements going. Oh, here we go. I'm seeing a group of about a max and about, you know, half a squad here that are going to be pushing out into the point at A. They're surrounding it.
Yeah,
it looks like
from the very start, and then from the start, NNG has been setting the pace for this match. They're really taking the time here. That the Sunder has been actually just barely under fire now, so they've been at this base for around 4 or 5 minutes, and that Sunder has been safe the entire time.
Yeah, I've seen a few shots being tossed out there. It's gone on fire a few times, like right now, but they're continually going back and supporting it and repairing it. Plus, they have these 2 lightnings that are definitely trying their best to protect it. As well as the Galaxy that's continually running back and forth over the base.
I think it really shows that NNG is one alpha here, because you could tell that they've had a lot of time together and played a lot together. That's the advantage you get when you actually have one single outfit coordinating within itself.
Yeah, they're definitely making some major pushes together as a group. They're utilizing each of the classes properly. I'm seeing them use the terrain properly. I'm liking what I'm seeing from these guys, and they're constantly putting the pressure on offensively.
Yeah, and we've seen a repeat of what we saw earlier in the Russian match this morning, and that's that when you concede air pressure, you're basically asking to get spawn camp, and that's what's happening now. There's two liberators up in the air, throwing constant suppression on the spawn point.
And again, I'm just seeing these very small pushes being made by UxB. Every once in a while, I'll see a few soldiers running out of the spawn room. Maybe I'll get a half a squad push, but I'm not seeing this massive push like I am from the NNG crew. Or maybe this will be it. I'm seeing about a half a squad pushing out. They're trying to use this wall over here. Well, next to the point here by the A point.
And in situations like this is where the flexibility of the platoon leader's mind really shows what he's capable of. Because he's the one making the big calls, the big plays, people to pull vehicles, things like that. So it's really up to him to decide how his outfit performs. And right now, they seem kind of scattered. And I want to almost say it's because maybe they're not used to playing together.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm seeing them do some pushes together with these small squads, but I just feel like it's not their full entire platoon that's really working together. I'm seeing, oh, and then we got a capture right there by the Boundary Sovereignty. Well done, NNG.
That is
But
2
what I'm
points
seeing
for an NNG.
primarily from the UxB guys is that they're separating themselves way too often. And you know, separating yourself is good to some extent because you avoid getting grenaded and killed, but at the same time, these maxes, they need their support. They need to be not running around. I've seen a few of them just running around by themselves, not really doing much.
Yeah, I was looking up some info on UxB earlier, and according to them, this is their first real competitive match. So it could potentially be inexperience as well, or maybe just nerves, just simply down to nerves.
Oh yeah, and I mean the round 2 is going to be way more intense than round 1 after you see what the other team is bringing to the table. And here we go, NNG is getting right back into their galaxy. They already have their libs and site support, and they're already pushing in on their next point. The Liberators are making some paths over here, dropping down, trying to take out some of the Sunderers and vehicles that are being pulled out. But I am seeing UxB trying to defend. A whole bunch of their guys just ran back to the A point at Ymir Eastern Way Station.
Yeah, that's the benefit of keeping that galaxy alive the whole time. They just loaded up their troops and their maxes that were defending the point and dropped them on A right away. So now all that infantry that was going to be pushing the armor back isn't able to do it. They have to focus on the infantry on the point.
Yes, and they are trying their best to hold the point. I don't think that they have that many people here. NNG is still missing quite a few of their squad mates. So they just have kind of a max here that's trying to hold down the fort, while UxB is making quite a push with various infantry folk. They have some heavies, some NGs, some medics pushing in here, and onto the A point.
Yeah, and it was a pretty good shot from NNG there. I think they dropped about 4 or 5 people, and they were able to buy at least 20 seconds on the clock. So now they're able to actually push on the outside of the base and potentially get a Sunderer set up.
Definitely, we'll have to see what's. Let me check the map and see if they are pulling a Sunderer up here. They were pretty quick about the Sunderer at Frostfall, and yes, they already have a couple Sunderers deployed. Really nicely done. We have one right near their spawn point, as well as another on the other side. Oh man, that's just fantastic.
Yeah, and unless UxB is able to pull armor from Ymir or get some air crew up, they're gonna be hard pressed to take out that Sunder that the NNG has set up.
And we're seeing this little firefight going on between these guys. What you're seeing from NNG is they're putting the pressure on. They know where these guys are spawning. They know where they're going to come from. So they're putting this kind of forward pressure on while they're also moving together as a team towards the A point.
Yeah, it was a pretty good push from them.
Sorry, go ahead.
Say it was a pretty good push from NNG. They pushed through all 3 doorways. They were covering each other. They weren't being overly aggressive and overextending. So the reward was the point, and they have pretty solid control now.
Yes, and again, they're setting up. They have their maxes, their engineers, their medics. Although they do have a medic that's straggling. He needs to get back with the crew. But you have UxB. They're trying their best to push in here with a few guys to get on the A point. But I think that again, this is what I'm seeing from them. They're putting just a couple soldiers out there, trying to make their way to A. I'm not seeing a really coordinated push from them to get it back. And maybe that's their thing. They're just going to try to put a few guys out there and then do a huge rush like they did in previous fights. I'm not seeing any contestants here other than just a few guys that continually try to make their way up here. What are you seeing from their side? Are they setting up anything defensive or offensive?
Actually, my PlanetSide 2 crashed.
Ah, I see. Okay. So far, what I'm seeing from the UxB guys is, they are making a push here through the trees, through the rocks. It's just partial squad, though. Again, I'm not seeing a full squad or anything doing anything major. I think NNG is going to be able to hold this no problem and take it back. What do you think they're going to be able to do to counter this? I mean, the next fight, if they do, I mean, a biolab, they should be able to set up some defenses.
Yeah, but like what happened earlier in the Russian match, if you get pushed back to the biolab, it's basically you're playing really risky game, just because biolabs are so easy to take.
I just saw a push from these guys. They are making their way to the point. Let's see if they can do this. They have a max. Oh, their medic gets taken down. Their engineer gets taken down. Their max is trying to put up the shield. I don't think he's going to be able to do much here. They did throw in a grenade. They're throwing in grenades left and right, trying to get their guys in here. They have an infiltrator taking out. They just have a max and an engineer left. And a medic. Oh, is this medic going to be able to get out? No, he's not. He didn't even get a revive grenade off. And UxB is able to re-secure the A point. That was really nice. That was exactly what I thought they should have done, and I'm glad to see that happen. Now let's see what they're going to do about all these Sunderers that are all up in their base. Again, NNG is making this ginormous push. They have their maxes, they have their infantry support that are coming in here with them, and let's see what they do about getting the A point back.
Yeah, and somebody's popping a lot of smoke. It's something that happened a lot too in the earlier match. And I'm always curious whether it's the defender or the attacker popping the smoke, because it could play to both your advantage and disadvantage.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing with smoke. It's so easy to counter. I mean, you just shoot. You know they're on the other side. You can spot with your Q. I really don't think smoke is going to be a major advantage unless people get freaked out, which it can. It can be a mental thing. It can freak people out. I think, honestly, concussion grenades are going to be your best bet if you're going to go grenade-wise.
Yeah, and these Vino on the corner on the outside just got double conk, triple conk. So they're in a bad spot here. If any anti are able to get targets on them, they're all going to die.
And they're all pushed into one door here. You didn't see NNG kind of split up and go around to multiple doors. You just saw them all kind of rush in on this one corner. Oh man, there's so many. The grenades going back and forth between them is just hilarious to me, watching them throw back and forth. You have this infiltrator that just continually is getting up behind these guys and taking them out, but they're able to keep this. Although I just saw a medic throw in a revive grenade, I believe. Looks like it may have taken the guys up. Yep, they're back up. UxB soldiers are back in the fight. Ooh, I like this.
It's the old medic whack-a-mole game where there's so many revive grenades, you have to constantly be putting down targets.
Yeah, and you're seeing it from both sides. Both sides are utilizing it. So it's very amusing to see it continually go back and forth. All right, so what I'm seeing here now is that the NNG guys are like, all right, we went through that one door. That didn't work for us. They're going to try to go up around another door and see if they can make their way in there. They're taking the smaller building to the right of the A building. And they're getting completely wiped out.
Yeah, UxB has one lightning out, but that's the only piece of armor they have out there, and the NNG Sunder looks like it's defended by a lightning. So, I mean, this entire time, yes, UxB is resecuring the point, but they still haven't been able to put any pressure on the NNG Sunder.
This is correct. They did get the defense, but I don't know how long it's going to last for them. This could be really interesting. The thing is, though, if they're hardcore defending this A point on this base, they're not going to be able to push forward to the next, or did they? I think, did they just take the forward base? I think they did. Oh, I'm liking that. Very nice. So what you're seeing here is the UxB guys have taken the A point at Frostfall Overlook. That means the NNG crew cannot capture Ymir Eastern Way Station. In order to capture it, they need to send some guys back to their old base here and resecure it. I guess they're going to send in a whole crew, which I don't know if that's going to be the right choice. I mean, you tell me, kid, what would you have done? Would you have sent just like a few people there to resecure it and then kept the pressure on at the main forward base, or would you have sent your full squad back here?
Well, that's all $1 million question. It's all up to the outfit leads. It's like how many do you think you need, and how many people can you guys handle? It all comes down to how good you guys are. You know, how many good shooters you have on your team, how many guys you guys are able to take out. I mean, if you have guys that could take out 2 or 3 guys at once, then you need less people to rotate. But if you don't have as good shooters, then you have to commit more people and rotate more. So it really depends on the outfit leader and how comfortable he is with his people.
That's a
Me
that's a
personally,
point.
yeah, you say the minimum you need so you could keep on the offensive.
Definitely. And I don't know if they're able to really do that. It seems like NNG had to pull back completely. I'm seeing an enemy lightning that's in the fray here, a couple enemies. So, I mean, do they have a Sunderer up in this area at Frostfall?
Yeah, it's southwest of Frostfall. It's a pretty good hike away. I think what had happened is while they were resecuring the Esamir, they had one or two guys sneak a Sunderer and just had the squad spawn there.
It's going to be interesting to see how NNG turns around from this. They were able to resecure the point, but UxB is continually putting pressure on it. I'm seeing a few soldiers here and there trying to push in, get closer to A. They even have the high ground, but I'm not certain they're going to be able to take this unless they get some more people over here. Let me check out what the NNG crew is actually doing.
Yeah, they have pop at Emir Eastern Way, but they're about to lose the cap on Frostfall. Actually, they should have the cap on Emir Eastern Way. Frostfall is locked right now.
Yes,
so
they just made a huge push. That was so fast. They went back to their Sunder over here and made their way back. That makes a lot more sense because I was seeing some of their guys dying. They were redeploying back to Ymir Eastern Way and making a massive push onto the A point. Very nicely done, NNG. I'm liking that. Such quick movement. That's exactly what you need.
Yeah, this lane is especially all about speed and leapfrogging your opponent and kind of out-picking him and just getting enough time on that cap to cap the next base and force everybody back.
So far, the winners are NNG with 2 points, but still obviously partway through the first half.
And there's not that much contestants going on over here. I think maybe NNG is putting UxB is putting a lot of their pressure on the other base that they were at, the Frostfall. I mean, what are you seeing from them? I still see a couple lightnings that are in the middle of these two bases, not really doing much yet.
Yeah, it looks like NNG for the most part was wiped from A, but they still have a couple guys out here.
Oh man, they just made a push. They got their A point back.
Yeah, and they still have guys at Frostfall, so I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, it's Ymir Eastern Way is capping. So this is really it where the Alpha Lead has to ask himself, how many people do I have to commit to defense and how many to offense?
I think that's going to be the ultimate question here in order for us to see what happens next, right? It's all on UxB to figure out whether they're going to send some guys back here to get the A point and then make that pressure on that forward base so that they can get the cap on before this base gets capped.
I think the UxB Alpha Leader is asking himself that right now because he still has a couple people at Frostfall and he has 2 Sunderers plus a couple Lightnings. So they're hoping that they're able to take A back at Ymir Eastern Way. But even if they do, they have at least a minute on the cap because the clock's ticking pretty fast.
I'm seeing a fairly decent push from UxB right now. They have a max, they have some engineers supporting them, some medics coming in the back here, but they're getting flanked. They're getting flanked by the NNG crew's medic. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that much there. No, they're able to take those guys out, and we still have NNG pushing forward here while UxB is just kind of taking them out because they're getting kind of spread out, and that was their major flaw in that. I thought they were going to have that fight, but it ended up not turning out so well for them. Looks like I think UxB is going to be able to take this back no problem. And what is it looking like at Frostfall? Are they making a push over there at all?
No, they have one guy on the point and they have 2 Sunderers, but that's it. I think they were hoping for the recap. It might be an infiltrator.
They have the recap. They have it. So we'll see what happens at that forward base. But meanwhile, we have the NNG crew trying to make a push here. They got kind of spread out once more. Weren't able to do much. They got taken out. They're trying to think to make another push from their Sunderer back here. This time they're going to bring some more maxes. Looks like they're bringing 3 maxes. Before we only saw a couple, like 1 or 2.
Yeah, that was a big push from NNG there. But some NC Lat Assault was able to get a good C4 and a couple maxes. So they're hurting pretty bad.
Yes. And they're trying to push forward to this A point. But they're getting split up, they're getting taken out. That light assault is just continually doing work. I'm seeing him come through these crystals and flying back up and down them and trying to kill these guys.
So
It looks like NNG is going to be able to get the A point flipped once more. they are going to need some more people to get over to the A point to kind of help support this because UxB is continually putting pressure on it.
Yeah, and UxB actually
more
has
smoke.
They have 2 lightnings, 2 reavers, and they have 3 people at Frostfall, but they still haven't taken out that Sunder at Esamir Eastern Way.
I'm wondering what that smoke was from too. I'm wondering who is using that, NNG or the UxB guys. Because that was a very interesting smoke usage. It didn't really do that much.
Yeah, I'm really curious what the vehicles from UxB are doing because they're not even close to either base. They're kind of in the middle.
That's what I kept saying. Remember, I was like, why are these lightnings sitting in the middle of these bases? I'm not really certain what's going on. Maybe they think that NNG is traveling between the 2 points, but I mean they are. They're just doing it in a much quicker route than.
Yeah, all I can think is that maybe
vehicles.
it's just 2 sky guards waiting for air, but you're wasting time. I mean, if you have a roll and you can't do anything about your roll within a minute or 2, then you have to change your roll. It's one of those things where you have to keep moving, keep doing something else, keep productive, especially in the 24s where every man counts.
And these guys are trying their best to set up a little bit more of a defense here around the spawn points. But again, they're getting split up, which as we know, we've seen how the NNG work with that. It doesn't always work to their advantage because their maxes are getting taken out with no support. With 2 minutes on the cap, 2 minutes on the cap. We're already seeing some more UxB guys on top. They have a light assault. Yeah, totally taken out by the maxes.
all the lightnings that UxB has with sky guards, I think that's why they were hesitant to push on the Sunder. But even sky guards do a little bit of damage and put some pressure. And the more pressure you put on that Sunder, you can see like 3 or 4 NNG trying to kill those lightnings. So those are 3 or 4 NNG that aren't fighting for the point. So even those distractions count. Every little bit counts.
So for a moment, I was seeing the A point being flipped by UxB, but I think that the NNG crew might be able to get that back and re-secure that.
Yeah, I don't know who's playing this Galaxy, but he just Goomba stomped one of the Sky Guards. It's pretty funny.
Nice. Yeah, they've been utilizing the Galaxy quite well. He's been non-stop hovering over the base, getting some shots in there left and right, dropping some guys down.
There's 17 minutes, 50 seconds left in the match, and it's 2-0 right now, NNG favor.
Oh man, with such a close timer, it looks like the A point might be getting flipped once more. Nope, they're able to get it back again. This is just kind of ridiculous. It looks like it's locked. Oh, never mind. It's not. It's good. I just saw a revive grenade go in by the UxB guys. Oh, that's insane. That revive grenade.
Yeah, but that Max is there.
They're trying to take the Max down, but
good.
the Max, yeah, he's just carrying. And, you know, he held out just long enough for his crew to come in here. There's another revive grenade coming in here from the UxB guys. They're trying their best. This guy's trying to, like, avoid the Max and kill the infantry that are supporting him. But he wasn't able to do much.
It's a really good battle here for Imperial Way. And a lot of it's stems. I mean, they've spent at least 6-7 minutes here, and all of it's because that Sunder has never had pressure put on it. The Sunder has been out there unmolested the entire time.
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone go and attack their Sunderer, which, I mean, that's like the first thing you look for. Where are they coming from, right? Get rid of that, and then move forward. But no, they haven't done anything in that regard. And I believe they still have 2 Sunderers up, unless their other Sunderer got taken down. Let's check.
Yeah, and UxB actually did pull some air. So I think they were trying to take care of that Sunder, but the NNG air was able to take him out. They had at least a Liberator and a Reaver up.
Yeah, and NNG's doing great about keeping those 2 Lightnings as support for their Sunderer, and this Galaxy is just continually tanking and dropping guys and getting pot shots off whenever he can. As well as these sites. I constantly am seeing these sites flying back and forth, trying to take out any of their air that are coming the way before they can even get to the base, which is fantastic. Great coordination from NNG, utilizing both air, ground, and infantry. Although UxB is making a little push here. They had a couple guys come in here trying to do work, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much with
Yeah,
just two guys.
They just lost a point, but towards the end they were kind of falling apart there. I think they were a little desperate because they weren't working. They weren't running together. They were kind of running in
spread
twos and
out.
threes.
And that's something that I've been seeing them do throughout the whole night, is that they're constantly splitting up, pushing, not pushing together.
Right, that's
They'll have,
another
like,
cap
half
for
a squad.
NNG, and that's 4-0 NNG's favor. There's just over 15 minutes left in the match.
And now what you're going to see from these guys is they're going to use this, use the portal pad here and just fly right on over to the base. I'm going to check if they actually have a Sunderer set up yet. And it does not appear so.
What do you think the odds are that we'll see a home run in the next 15 minutes?
I think it'd be interesting to see that. I'm hoping that it's not. I hope that UxB can defend this. But again, oh man, they just got totally flanked by the NNG crew here that are trying to push in. Let's see what their first, I guess they're going to go for A. Is the first point that they're going to try to go for, which kind of makes sense. I mean, it is closest. That's what you often see a lot of times, especially in this lane. But I'm going to check out. It looks like UxB is setting up some defenses. They have some engineer turrets. They're pushing out some maxes, trying to give them some support. They have a couple cloakers here and there, trying to set up. Maybe put some. I'm wondering if they're going to put some mine or bouncy betties down at all.
Yeah, and there's a few ways you could defend a biolab, and it looks like UxB is kind of spreading their people out, trying to cover all the angles, which is pretty smart. Because even if you get overrun, at least you get some communication going, and people can rotate properly.
And something that I saw too is that UxB had some maxes and some guys just waiting for these guys because they know that they're going to portal over here through this jump pad, and they're actually making their way over to the base as well. So they're trying to put a little bit pressure. It looks like a few more guys are heading over that way as well. But NNG, they are going through the other side. Very interesting. Do they have a Sunderer set up here? They do. Looks like they have a Sunderer set up. Yes, they have a Sunderer set up on the opposite side. And their Galaxy is continually trying to take out vehicles as well.
I saw the generator flicking. I think there's a few Vital that were able to push through the Crescent building. There's a couple of light assaults running around on top of the roofs. I think they're just playing havoc, trying to distract NC forces and moving around, attacking different points, trying to spread them out.
Yeah, NNG is all kinds of spread out right now, but you can tell that they're trying to do it in the most tactical way that they possibly can. But I think it's actually hindering them a little bit here. Let's see what's going on at the C point.
NNG?
So there's a couple guys that made a push to C. They weren't able to get that. I'm seeing them kind of spread out here. There's a few that are over by the B point, by the teleporter pad or teleportation room there. They obviously have a Sunderer down south, so they're continually coming up that way and moving their way in. But they're pretty spread out right now throughout the different points. There's a couple at A, a few that are near C. No one's at B now. They've completely moved away from that point.
Yeah, the action's pretty spread out and sporadic, but here in the south pad, there's a small-sized push from the VS. Yeah, they actually have a Sunderer deployed on the south pad now, and there's a Liberator guarding it. It's really smart.
Yeah, they've had that there for pretty much the entire time they've been fighting at the biolab. As soon as they were able to push through here, they were already setting up there. Oh man, it's just very interesting to watch them fight. So they have this max, for instance, they'll have a max that's holding a choke point, right? They have their engineer that's continually supporting the max, and any infantry that comes in there and that's trying to like pull out a rocket launcher, trying to take out the max, that engineer is there supporting him. He immediately pulls out his weapon, his primary, and takes him out. Oh, but getting shotgunned in the face is not gonna help. Oh, it's very, very
there's about 4 or 5 bombing pushing from the south again.
rough.
If they're able to get a good push from the teleporter and another push from the south, they might be able to get some pressure on these points and actually get the gen.
Looks like they're doing a big push for C now. They have quite a few NNGs pushing in on this base. They're pulling in quite a few people. They're only taking one that's going to hold the point, but there's kind of separating around it and protecting the person that's trying to cap. So they're pushing on C, they got C flipped, and they're still making a push onto A. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get into this building. Oh, but they are. They're hacking the generator. Oh, their guy went down. He's getting revived. Very nice. And now they've gotten the double stack room where A is, which is going to be really great for them. Now let's see what UxB is going to do in retaliation to this. Are they making a big push to get A back?
No, they have some people between C and the gens. I think they're just trying to push the VS out. It looks like they're just trying to resecure the points.
Yeah, I saw a couple guys push in here, but they weren't able to really do anything because they're coming in here like 1 or 2 at a time again, which we've seen multiple times here from the UxB crew. But even at that, they're able to take down a couple guys here around the corner. He just took out, I think, about 3 of them. Just took down a 4th. Is he going to be able to re-secure the generator? Oh, there's a Max that's going to meet him. And he is down. It looks like this Max is going to make sure that this generator gets taken down.
Just a quick update. The score is 4-0 in NNG favor. There's just over 9 minutes left in the match.
So there's plenty of time for NNG to cap this. They could take their time. And one interesting thing that I've noticed, that UxB I haven't seen one dart in this entire biolab. So either they're depending completely on callouts, or they just, I don't know, maybe they undervalue darts, but usually you see at least one infiltrator shooting darts everywhere.
I'm going to be with you on that. NNG has not been using darts either. I have not seen that many. And NNG was able to secure C as we were getting our score update and time update. So that helps them even more because they're going to be able to have a little bit forward push and security. And it looks like the UxB guys might be contesting that though. They're like, nope, taking it back. And they're able to wipe out the crew that was holding this.
Yeah, once the gens get attacked, there's a few ways you can go about it. You could either go through the crescent building and try for a flank from the top, or you could actually go through C. So maybe just them putting pressure on C is them just trying to secure that side so they could actually push on the gens.
Yeah, I mean, UxB pushed out quite a few guys here, but it looks like NNG is just going to be able to take the C point back.
10 seconds on the gen, it's not looking good.
Yeah, the gen is going down. And these guys are continually pushing through. I mean, they have the Sunderer. Again, their Sunderer has not been contested at all. It's just been chilling there the entire time. They have their Lightnings out there. They have their Liberators out there. They have their Galaxy just securing the Sunderer location, and they're not really having any problem holding that up.
And there's one NNG heavy on the SCU who's actually going to be able to arm it.
Yep, he is on that. He gets taken out, but there's no one here to re-secure it yet. We're seeing some people. We have a Max that's going to try to help support it. He's got to move out a little bit, though. He's getting pretty demolished. He doesn't have... Oh, he has some support back there. All right, cool. Oh, this train. They have, you know, when you see a Max with an engineer with a medic train going on, it's a beautiful sight. But it looks like UxB is going to be able to re-secure this. They made a huge push. They have almost half a squad here. A Max that's doing their forward pushing. He's busting on his shield. A couple NGs here taking some guys out. A heavy taking some guys out. About 3 dudes. They just took out the dude that was on the turret here, and possibly I think they're going to be able to repair this generator. They are. Oh, their engineer gets taken out. No, he doesn't. He gets secured. And it looks like they're going to be able to get this generator up. They have multiple engineers here, some medics supporting, and their Maxes are pushing forward onto the A point with a couple soldiers as support.
There's a small band of counterattack on the generator. They were actually able to kill the NC on there. But there's still some NC on the big stairs, so they're going to be able to take out this Vanu eventually.
I think that the Vanu are setting up another push here. I'm going to go over here and check out what's going on. Or maybe they're all just rushing in. Nope, I'm seeing a pretty decent crew setting up on the pad here, and I think they're going to do another rush together. These guys, NNG is constantly putting the pressure on. I'm loving it.
Yeah, here comes another big push from NNG. They have plenty of maxes. Look like 4 or 5 maxes. They're all going for the gens.
We're having quite a few fights between all kinds of things. Oh my gosh, what is happening?
Yeah, the fights are pretty spread out.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So what they're doing is they're putting pressure on C, trying to make sure that that doorway is safe, and then they're going to put pressure on the small stair door by the gens, just to try and secure their angle, so that way they don't get outflanked like they did last time.
So they have the high ground with the A point. They're setting up again with their turrets. They have some maxes. They have the gen overloaded. They're trying to hold this. Again, they're using this door as the main choke point, but they also know that the UxB guys are going to be able to come through this other door, so they're securing that as well. So they're just holding this room while they get that gen down. Looks like they're not making any pushes for anything else. This is just their primary objective at the moment. Sorry.
Yeah, and UxB for the moment it's all bundled up by the SCU, so it looks like they're going to try just a brute force approach. Actually, no, they have 4 or 5 guys by the outer doors to the generator. So they're trying to peek in and get some shots on, but those maxes are taking out those infantry really quick.
Yeah, they're utilizing the hallway here, the little alleyway between C and A quite well. Constantly putting pressure on them. Although one of their maxes is getting kind of pushed out of the building, and oh my gosh, he's able to take all 3 of the guys down. A medic revive is tossed out here with a grenade, and it looks like all of the NNG guys are back up. And that was actually a really good fight for them. And they're able to secure C as well.
Yeah, it's not looking good for UxB. I mean, you have 20 seconds on the gen, and then you have 2 points capped.
And again, I'm seeing them kind of spread out here. A few of them running towards C, a few of them running towards the gen over trying to make their way to A through the UxB guys. Just don't know if they're going to be able to re-secure this in time, especially with such a close timer for the end of the match for round 1.
That match just took a rocket to the face. He was a little over aggressive. It's one of those things where you get on one of those killing sprees and you just want to keep pushing and pushing. But especially with even if you get a revive, it's 4 seconds from a medic, so you really want to play safe with your maxes.
Yeah, and when you get to the point where you're half health but as a max, pulling back and getting closer to your engineer is probably the wisest idea. So, in order to keep sustain. If you're just making a giant push, then, maybe you can be a little bit more aggressive. So here they go. They're actually going to be able to get the spawn control unit re-secured. They're making a huge push. I think they have to have at least a full squad, if not a squad and a half, pushing into the point to re-secure the generator, to repair that. They have like 3-4 NGs trying to repair it. Meanwhile, we have this NNG Max that's trying to make a push, but I don't think he's going to be able to take it. No, he gets taken out. Has no support over here. There's medics from the UxB guys that are constantly trying to revive them. They're making a forward push. All of the NNG crew that were pushing out from the Sunder are now getting taken out slowly. The A point has been recapped. What's going on with C? Is NNG pushing that? No.
Yeah,
yes,
there's about 4 or 5 people on C.
Okay, the points
right.
are 4-0 in NNG favor, and we're just under 2 minutes left in the match.
All right, that's actually a good move for them. So they did get C. They're able to push back onto A. It's getting contested right now. I'm trying to make my way there. UxB is trying to hold the A point though. They have a max, a medic, a couple support engineers here, medics, and I think they might be able to hold this. They have an engineer that's trying to utilize this turret, but I think it's he placed it a little bit too far out. And there's massive exchange going on between these guys. I don't think that they're going to be able to hold it. Looks like they pushed in with some maxes of their own, threw some grenades in here, and they were able to wipe out all of the UxB guys.
Yeah, that was a really good push from NNG. So now they just gotta repair up, heal up, get some ammo, and re-secure those gens. They really have to keep their maxes alive here.
Yeah, they definitely do. Well, something that I noticed from the NNG guys is that their maxes sometimes make some pushes on their own without support, and that's what's getting them killed often. The moments when they all stick together is going well for them. So UxB is again making another push to the generator. They're trying to do this as organized as they possibly can. I'm seeing they're making slow gains here. I'm not sure what their plan is. Are they going to come up the other staircase? They're
20 seconds
kind
left.
they're trapped by this generator area because NNG owns the upper floor. Oh, and they're making a giant push at the bottom floor, and they're able to take them out.
Yeah, it was one of those.
2
Right,
minutes
that
on
is
the
the end of the
capture board.
half.
It was one of those things where NNG
End of
was
the half,
actually-
and NNG is 4-0 to UxB. Again, we'll do a quick recap. That was the first and then half. First, the end of the first half, and the two teams playing are UxB and NNG. The score are 4 NNG, 0 UxB. We're going to be going.
30%
All right, welcome back,
profit.
everybody. The teams playing tonight are NNG and UxB, Gaming United Brotherhood, and No Nonsense Gamers. The score right now, currently after the first half, is 4-0 in NNG favor. The next 45-minute half will be starting here shortly. Again, this is Community Clash, a community-grown competitive show for everybody in the PlanetSide 2 community. Hope you guys enjoy the second half. That being said, we're going to kick it off to the casters. 30 seconds on the clock. Let's do this second half.
Hey everybody, Kid right here. We're gonna see what UxB does. It was one of those things we were talking about during the halftime, and it's one of the things that has been shown throughout all of like the competitive PlanetSide 2, and that's if you can see the air, you are essentially giving up a huge portion of the map. And so we're gonna see if UxB can respond. It looks like they have a bunch of guys set up at the air terminal, so it might be a Reaver heavy pool, and hopefully they're able to keep the air presence up. I don't know. What do you see on your side, Luperza?
I'm trying to do the countdown, but they're all hanging out here with their galaxy, ready to rock and roll. It looks like they're going to probably push out of the galaxy.
Yeah, it looks like UxB has learned, lessons from the first half. And so the thing is with this air battle, and a lot of the times it happens is where you win the first air battle, and then the air kind of just flutters around. Like you have to be effective. You have to keep putting pressure on infantry, on vehicles, and maintain the air presence. Make sure that what you do matters. So it's always one goal, one step after the other. But here we go, 5 seconds to go. We're going to see what UxB can do in this half.
All right, and we are off. As I stated, the NNG guys are all getting the galaxy. Looks like they left 2 of their guys not in it, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, there's a few lightnings. I'm willing to bet that it's a Skyguard lightning, and there's a lot of Reavers. We're looking at about 7 or 8 Reavers, more than that.
Oh, they're pulling like a full crew of Reavers?
Yeah, they're a lot faster in this half. They're
All
racing
right.
to that point.
I see a few of them turning back. They're trying to take out the galaxy.
Yeah, and it worked in their favor. This time UxB was the faster in this case, and they were able to get people on crossfire outlook. So now,
Oh, you
now
are
it's,
kidding. So many.
They got there really fast, and maybe a lot of it has to do with how Racer Frame got buffed, and with Afterburners, you are pretty quick in the sky. And the rest of the air is going to just try and fight the other air, counter it, and keep the pressure up. So this is the thing that I like to see, especially from outfits that we're not too familiar with in the community, is how they respond to the initial situations and what they learn from it. And like, even marks of like really good outfits and smart leaders are that they learn right away. And UxB in this case has proven a lot that they learned their mistakes from the first half and they adapted. Whether they feel strong in the air or not, they were able to adapt and get pressure on A. We're over here at Crossfire Overlook.
Yeah, they were a little shocked about that. They left a couple guys there still, so we'll see what happens with that. But they are NNG is making a push back to A. Looks like they're going to try to take that back.
Yeah, and there's about 6 or 7 months.
Sorry, it looks like you cut out.
Yeah, I messed up. I was in window mode. No, there's about 6 or 7 Vanu, and they're pushing on the point. But UxB has a pretty good presence here, even though they got wiped out. But they have a couple maxes still, and they're coming up with the Sunderer for reinforcements, a couple Lightnings, which I'm assuming are Sky Guards, and they still have 1 Reaver up in the air. 2 Sunderers coming now. So
Yeah,
UxB,
I don't. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say UxB has completely changed their game.
Yeah, I'm liking how offensive they are about this. NNG is able to take it back though, and we'll see how they can hold this with NNG pushing in with a few Sundies. With it looks like NNG has some Lightnings as well, trying to take out their Sundie. See how long it lives.
Yeah, right now UxB is just trying to create space for the Sunder to deploy. He's kind of running away into the mountains, probably to repair, but at the same time he was able to drop a few infantry to put pressure on.
Yeah, and this is a great move by NNG. They surrounded the Sunderer. They have these lightnings here prepared to take out any armor that are coming their way, although they just lost one to another lightning, to the UxB lightning.
Yeah, and there's a couple NC maxes coming in on point, and there's no VS maxes, so they're going to be able to wipe out all of VS on this point. And yeah, just as we say it, they're actually capping it. And it looks like, yeah,
and UxB is chasing the last lightning as well. That was entertaining.
Yeah, it's really good. And like it was something that happened in the first half where they had those sky guards out there and they weren't using them. I mean, even if there's no air to shoot, at least try and put pressure on vehicles. And that's what they're doing this half. It may take you forever to kill something, but you have 2 sky guards, you're able to do some damage and force them back.
There's something about this base, Frostfall Overlook, that causes people to just lose their minds and go a little chaotically and separate themselves from the rest of their squads. I think it's because maybe they're trying to get the cover as they're running back to the A point, but I'm consistently seeing that. I'm not seeing them work together a lot of the times, no matter what outfit it is that's on the defensive.
Yeah, this is a really good base to defend. I mean, if you're attacking and you have the point, there's a lot you can do here. We see most of these outfits content to stay on the point, like UxB is now. But if they were just a bit more aggressive... It's the worst idea.
If they just went to the double stack building to the left, they'd have the high ground, they'd have the view to the defender's spawn point. It's such a better location than it is just to hold that little point that is easily tossed out with grenades and other firearms.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's actually what I was about to say. And it happened a lot too in our alpha scrimmages when we would fight at this base preparing for the lane, is that if you're able to put maybe even 2 people on that double stack, that causes enough of a distraction to the people running that even if you don't kill them, they're running in with like half shields, 3/4 shields, and every bit counts.
And we have 20 seconds left on Frostfall. Looks like NNG still has some people over at Geological Survey. They have a platoon leader over there. I'm guessing that they're going to do some kind of squad spawning over that way. They have the Galaxy. They have Liberators slowly pushing their way in there. And it looks like I'm already seeing a Max that's hiding in a rock at the moment.
Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 UxB back at what is that, Geological Survey. So I'm assuming they're going to be bringing another Sunderer, because the one they have now is getting pelted by a scythe, and it's way to the west. And that run to the point is through the spawn room of NNG. So it's about the worst spot you could have for this base.
And NNG platoon leader is flipping A. And like you said, they already have the Sunder. It's underneath the bridge here. This bridge fight is always entertaining for me, so I really hope we get to see a massive bridge fight with all this open terrain. I'm wondering what's happening here. I've not seen them move over.
Yeah, they're kind of falling into this habit, like we were saying earlier, of just staying inside the building, and you're too vulnerable. You leave yourself open to conks. I mean, you should have a couple people pushing out, but they've given up the air. Here comes at least 2 Liberators and a scythe from NNG, so they're gonna punish every NC that steps out of that building.
Oh yeah. And this is something that this is something we've consistently seen from NNG. Their air coordination is fantastic. Just the combination of all of their armor, air, and infantry squads working together has been really well done. Their communication strat I don't know how they have it set up, but it's working. And again, they're rolling with kind of the same setup I'm seeing from NNG. They have, the 2 lightnings, their Galaxy, and their Liberator with a couple sites as scouting and little prodding on the forward base to make sure that UxB doesn't have any Sunderers.
Yeah, they basically wiped out all the UxB from Frostfall, but UxB has about 4 or 5 Sunderers that are coming in from the west, or 4 or 5 Reavers, I should say.
Okay, so they're bringing in some air, some Sunder.
Yeah, they're actually engaged right now in the air. There's 1 scythe, Liberator, 2 scythes and Liberator, but it looks like UxB is actually using lock-ons, the Tomcats.
Interesting. Oh man, I'm seeing 3 of them all chasing 1 scythe. It's poor. That scythe was not going to live. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, and especially if you're able to drain resources, and when I say drain resources, if you're able to kill enemy vehicles without losing your vehicles, then you can basically drain the enemy of vehicles, and you could get the advantage. I mean, they're forced to do different things, like have people spawn liberators for them, things like that, and all that wastes a lot of time. So the more vehicles you're able to kill, same with maxes. If you're able to take out their maxes and have them take permadeaths, it's just resources down the drain. And even though they control half the map, the ticks aren't that big.
Their UxB is hardcore pushing on this galaxy. They want it dead.
Yeah,
they get it, and that's a lot of resources as well. The galaxy is not a joke. Something that we've seen from previous community clash episodes is that air is a very dominant factor. I mean, you're able to move very quickly. You're able to get to between each of the bases very quickly. You're able to spot things easily and take people out, especially if you're working together. I mean, I'm seeing these crews of 4 Reavers. I mean, you're not really going to be able to do much against that unless you also have a good counter.
Yeah, but something to note here is that what essentially UxB did just now by dominating the air, they did it with 9 Reavers. NNG was able to do it with like two sites and 2 liberators, so they were much more efficient.
Yeah, but I mean, you can even see, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. You can even see on this observer cam how much being in the air allows you to see so much of the battlefield. It's a very, very important thing to have some eyes in the sky.
Yeah, you can never discount communication, the importance of like observing where people are going, what's going on. You can react properly. You don't get outflanked. People aren't able to leapfrog you. So it's really important. But the interesting thing about this lane is because it's so flat that there are a lot of ways to sneak Sunderers by. And we've seen it happen both in the caster there today with the Russians, and then we saw it earlier in the first half. Where,
And I just want to note that the NNG crew has pulled out some lightnings to help get at this air out of the way. And they're pulling in a Sunderer to move towards geological survey.
Yeah, and this is something that really shows how smart NNG is, because usually people would pull too many Skyguards, but in this case NNG only pulled 1 Skyguard, 2, it looks like just I don't know, I couldn't tell you what kind of, just regular heat or
harassers. They're just supporting it to keep the Skyguard lightning alive.
Yeah, and they brought 4 Sunderers.
Yeah, they're great about their Sunderer locations too. They just kind of set them up all around the base as much as they possibly can. And meanwhile, they're always doing some kind of frontal attack to distract the enemy while they're setting up these Sunderers.
Yeah, and this is a base where, if you don't have air control, you really, really pay for it. Because, I mean, NNG can move in little by little, push the NC back to the spawn room, and the spawn room will get camped by this Dalton. It's something that we've seen repeatedly in this base.
Are the UxB guys bringing in some more air? I was really impressed with how much they did this time. I mean, in the previous round, we didn't really get to see much of that.
No, I don't see any airplanes right now. They're all in infantry right now. There's a couple people by not, but most of them are in infantry. But they're really getting farmed by this Dalton. I mean, like 5 UxB just got taken out by this Dalton.
Their liberators have consistently been a great asset on the battlefield throughout this evening. And you often see them working together. You're seeing the Reavers supporting them. They used to have a galaxy. Oh, they got their galaxy back up. Yeah. And they're consistently keeping their galaxy up and dropping guys onto the points or defeating enemies with their galaxy.
Yeah, and this base is really important. Not only to hold it, but morale-wise, because I mean, just the way you can get punished by losing the air control here, it's really, really frustrating. I mean, if you're at a base and you're trying to fight infantry and you're getting nailed from above, and you feel like it's like futile, like you can't do anything about it, and it's a frustrating experience. And that's where the alpha leader has to really calm his guys down, try and work out a plan to take out that air and move to the point. You really can't lose confidence here.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you're noting the whole calming everyone down, because in situations like this, it just gets chaotic, especially when you feel like your morale is being, demoralized. So the thing for them is like they got to realize, where do we need to go next? What is our next step to get to that point? And how are we going to be able to do that? Which I'm hoping that they make some kind of big push here. I haven't seen much from UxB other than a couple guys coming in and out of the spawns and just getting kind of demolished by the NNG guys.
Yeah, they're bringing UxB's bringing a Galaxy and a Reaver from the Warp Gate, and they're pulling 4 or 5 Skyguards from not Research Camp, plus the Sunderer. So they're bringing 2 Sunderers plus a few Lightnings.
And I'm seeing a little push here from UxB as well. They have about 6 guys that are pushing out to the A point. I think they're able to actually take out quite a few of these infantry, and they might be able to secure this point. I know they already have it, but it looks as though they're going to be able to hold it. Do note, though, NNG does have some Sunderers placed, so we'll see how they'll handle that.
Yeah,
Again,
really...
you know, like in the previous round, something to note, and Kid was consistently saying that UxB was not taking out the Sunderers. So hopefully they have learned their lesson. It looks like they were able to take out one of them.
Yeah, and they're actually trying to sneak a Sunderer to the next point. They actually have a Sunderer by Frostfall Overlook. So
oh, nice. UxB does?
Yeah, UxB does. So
nice.
They're going to try and hold this for as long as they can and get some people over there.
I would love to see that. And then you know that moment when you get to the point and you're like, darned it. I can't flip it. This sucks. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do it in time. NNG's already on the point. They're flipping it. So they'll have to re-secure it first before they make a big push on there.
Yeah, 31 minutes left in the half. 4-0 NNG.
So 31 minutes left. There's about 3 minutes on the cap. But that cap actually happened a few seconds earlier because UxB actually had a guy on the point at the same time. And as they were capping it, the cap point locked. So if UxB had been able to re-secure that, we're talking about a space of like 2 or 3 seconds difference. And that 2 or 3 seconds difference has actually got NNG on the offensive here. So it's pretty amazing what just a few seconds can do.
Something to think about. These guys, NNG is already on the other end of the bridge. They know that they need to get on the other side of the bridge so that they don't have that long choke point with the open field. They already have some tanks set up. They are waiting at the point. This is like an RTS game. I'm loving this. They're already at Not Research Camp. Obviously, they're not setting up too much around here. I was kind of expecting to see a Sunderer being pushed up here, but apparently they're just securing that choke point. I'm liking that, though. It's very forward-thinking, and that's something that we've seen from NNG throughout the night, is that they've been very aggressive, which is pretty much going to win you in these lanes, is being very aggressive and being able to make sure that you don't get back-hacked.
Yeah, and really a lot of props to UxB in the situation, because this is a really hard base to defend and actually take back once you've lost air, but they were able to do it. And there's 30 seconds left on the cap.
It's fantastic. And they're still holding it. And again, I believe I saw you talking about this in the early EU run through, where you were saying there's so many ways to hold this base. You can sit here on the rocks like they kind of are and use them for cover and try to hold the point, which I think is kind of not the best option in my opinion, but it's something that you can do. Or you can kind of take the higher ground around it and secure the area, which we aren't really seeing either team do. Once they get A, they're kind of just rushing in and holding the little crystals.
Yep, all UxB has to do is hold this because they already have people on Frostfall Overlook.
And they've defended it.
Yep. So Frostfall Overlook right now is actually getting capped.
Oh. Looks like the NNG crew is on it, but they're unable to capture it.
Yep.
So, yes,
a couple
very
seconds too
nice.
late.
They're all kind of standing around. Let's see what their next move is going to be. They're going to just send a couple people over to A, which I think is the right decision. Please do not send a whole bunch of guys here. I think that they could probably take A back with just a small crew of people.
No. They're going to need a lot more than that. UxB has rotated all their people to Frostfall Overlook.
Oh, snap.
See now this is where they set up by the double stack and they set up around the rocks and the cover. They could really get a deadly crossfire here set up.
Nice. They are doing exactly what we had talked about prior. They do have to deal with some air as well. Soldiers running down the hill. It looks like they might have a Sunderer over there in the mountains somewhere. Oh, their Sunderer was destroyed. Dang. The NNG guys are on it. Whenever UxB gets a Sunderer up, it just gets destroyed immediately.
Yes, now it's all down to the medics.
That moment when your medics are your prime targets here. And you're just seeing them try to revive and they're unable to. It's rough. And again, this point is so interesting because you have 4 doors. The point is in the middle. it's such a small room. Again, you just throw grenades, you can throw, you know, explosives in there and just completely take out everyone. I mean, I've seen these guys trying to throw in revive grenades, get these guys up, but they're unable to, and NNG is able to just kind of come in here and sweep this up.
So now here comes another curious part to see how UxB are going to counterattack. They've essentially
Sorry, I
bought
meant 3,
themselves.
not 4 doors.
Yeah, they essentially bought themselves a minute on the clock, and that's a minute that forces NNG to stay on the point. So they have to really sit here and look at the point and make sure that it doesn't get capped, that there's no infiltrators left around.
Yeah, and something that UxB is spending NNG's time here. They had to completely leave their point in their forward base. Although they tried to keep, you know, their Sunderer up over here. They have a couple maxes. I mean, they're pulling another Sunderer from the point, which is very interesting.
Yeah, and actually, funnily enough, NNG had a couple Sunderers that were left over from their initial battle. So UxB probably thought they had a clear run to the next base, but they run into these Sunderers. And so now they have to deal with the Sunderers, the people spawning at the Sunderers, and they still have to deal with the air.
I just saw a Sunderer run over somebody. That was really amusing. A UxB Sunderer just ran over a Vanu. What I'm kind of shocked about is that UxB pulled Sunderers out of geological survey, but they didn't care to clean up the area back there. They're just like, I'll run over a few of you guys, and then I'll just go to my base. They didn't even clean up the house. They just left them there.
Yeah, and they have 2 Sunderers coming out here, but it's a risky proposition because not only do NNG have the air control, they also have ground control here.
Yeah, they have lightnings. They're able to kind of get these guys, and you know, that's something that you're going to see from the Sunderer that's over here that's trying to make his way. The whole time he's driving, he's not really doing any damage to the tank that's hitting him, and he's getting hit from behind, which is just making him more vulnerable because you don't want to get attacked from behind as a Sunderer. That's not good. And then these 2 Sunderers up in the front just to go head to head, and NNG is able to take them out.
Yeah, both UxB Sunderers got taken out pretty quick, and that's a huge waste of resources and a huge waste of time. Like you really have to protect your Sunderers. You can't. They're not like a frontal unit. They're more of a support unit. You have to surround them with either harassers or lightnings. Or air.
I mean, they can tank a bit, but yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Like pulling back, being able to utilize them as distraction can be useful sometimes, but you do want to give them some support because they are such an important piece on the battlefield. I mean, you could do all kinds of things with Sunderers.
Yeah, and these Sunderers are coming up here without even, like, the first Sunderer has no gunners, it's just a driver. The second Sunderer only has 1 gunner.
Yeah. I don't know how well that's going to go for them. And NNG is consistently keeping their air superiority here.
Yeah, UxB pulled a few Weavers, but they weren't able to counter NNG. And I think it's mostly due to their skill and their experience in the air.
I love the battle gal. They've just been utilizing that galaxy left and right. I mean, I've only seen it die once throughout the evening.
Yeah, and UxB has a lone infiltrator on 8 point at Frostfall, but I don't think he's going to live long. Yeah, no, he's down.
Looks like UxB has pulled a few Reavers here. They're trying to take out the galaxy. They're getting it down pretty low, but there's a site that's coming in. It's trying to support. It's getting distracted and running off, so I don't know how well that's going to go. But, you know, galaxies are really tanky. Oh, and here's the Liberator. It's going to totally help out in this fight.
Yeah, and good lib pilots are actually really scary. I know there's a few notable pilots where even if I'm in a Reaver, I run away from them because they're so good with that tank buster, and even with the Dalton and Underbelly.
That's one shot.
Yeah, they're really, really good. Good lib pilots are truly scary, especially if you're like an average ESF pilot like me. And I don't know how good these UxB pilots are, but they're facing some of the better pilots in the game here.
They must be doing, I mean, NNG must be putting a lot of pressure on them because, I mean, when we see air fights are engaged, NNG is always the one who's winning in that forward fight, except for that early on Reaver fight that we saw, which I thought was fantastic. I was hoping to see more of that from the UxB crew. But mostly what I've been seeing is once these guys put the pressure on, and they've been continually keeping forward pressure with their sights, their Galaxy, their Liberators, just consistently pushing any air that comes their way completely out of the fight.
Yeah, and UxB essentially just threw away 3 Sunders. I don't know how many gunners they had in each, but the 2 Lightnings basically took out 3 Sunders there with some help from the Liberator.
Oh,
So they're
that's
really
rough.
they're really burning resources.
That's a lot of Sunders to lose.
NNG was actually
And-
able to deploy a Sunder under the bridge, but it looks like they got about 4 or 5 people on point at a geological survey.
Yeah, they might lose that Sunder that's under the bridge, though. It's pretty visible, and there's already a Reaver that's kind of shooting at it. It's getting low on health, unless they're going to repair it. I would definitely move that a little bit. It's right there out in the open. Maybe they want it to be, though. Maybe they want it to be a distraction out there.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I mean, it was usually deployed by the wall with some cover, but it looks like they just kind of deployed it in haste to deploy some people out and get them to the point.
And they're holding the point. Got 3 minutes and 40 seconds on the capture point. They have multiple Sunders. They have a Sunder over to the north as well.
So once again, NNG has control here at Geological Survey, but their air is currently distracted. So UxB pretty much has a free run to the point. But this is it now.
No,
Attacking this.
they brought a Liberator back. They got their Liberator back. Oh man, it got completely destroyed though.
Yeah, actually, I think they might have had 2 libs and 1 Reaver ran into one, and he got dulled at the same time. I'm not sure what happened there. It might have been like a debris kill.
Oh man, that's intense. I'm wondering what
Yeah.
happened during that fight because I was like, what?
Yeah, because there's still another Liberator up right over Geological Survey, and he's in a prime
Mhm.
spot to put a lot of pressure on the spawn room. I mean. And looking at the map, UxB is pretty much all in the spawn. They have a couple guys by the bridge. They have a Reaver up.
Yeah, he's trying to come in here, but he's getting harassed back out of here by a few sites.
Yeah, this looks like they're setting up for a time push here. They're trying to retake Geological Survey. Because looking at the map, every time the NNG air gets near, they pull back, and every time the NNG air flies away, they push forward.
Mhm.
So they must be communicating with their pilots pretty well to see, hey, when can we push? When can we stall? What can we do?
And UxB is pulling in a Galaxy. Interesting. Didn't do anything with it. I thought that maybe it would have some guys in it, but it just got demolished. Interesting.
Yeah, that
And seeing them
Liberator ate
waste
him
their
up.
resources like that, that's very rough. And
Yeah.
some more exchange. I'm not really certain what the goal was there with this Reaver. I mean, he rushed into the middle of this fight that has, a whole bunch of air support, and he tried to do damage to the Galaxy. Out of all the things,
Yeah,
trying to do
one-
damage to the Galaxy.
Yeah, one thing in UxB's favor is they have a Skyguard. He's actually in a pretty good spot. He might be an
where's he at?
experienced gunner. He's to the west of the base. So essentially, what he's doing is he's protecting the fly zone right over the spawn point to able to give his infantry breathing room. And exactly as that happens, there's a timing push from UxB on the point. They did a 2-pronged push. A few people from the bridge and a few people from the bottom. Pretty much a straight run to A. So they got actually they're putting pressure on the point, and they should be taking it back here pretty soon. They've got to max their full health.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I know that NNG does have the high ground with the bridge. They are kind of surrounding it, but they might get just taken out here and have to make another push on A.
Yeah,
But
that
they
was
do have
really
the
good work.
Sunder support, so they're able to just get right back into the fight.
Yeah, that was really good stuff. That was a defense of a lot of layers there. They had the air put pressure on the air. They had a Skyguard put a little more pressure, and as the pressure relieved on the UxB, then they were able to actually push on the point.
I'm hoping that they consistently push, put more pressure on these guys. Take out these Sunderers, move forward. You guys got this. Come on, UxB. I know you can come back from this. We want to see you cap a base.
Yeah, and to their credit, they're showing really true grit. I mean, the score may not display it, but they're showing a lot of grit. They're not giving up. They're still pushing. They're still fighting. There was twice where they were almost literally spawn camped into this base by air, and they were still able to break it.
Yeah, they made some really smart choices. It's the follow through. Once you get that, once you make the big push, once you demoralize the team to some extent, you have to follow through and find where they're spawning and continue to put pressure on it. Obviously, I know that NNG does have a lot of air support, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult to take care of. But you know, you pull some heavies, you pull a Burster Max, you pull the Skyguard.
Yeah, and it's I think a lot of it has to do to the platoon lead, because when you play on the live servers, you could basically look at the map for a minute and say, okay, you come here and do this. But in a 24s in this kind of situation, where you really have to be fighting, all 24 have to be fighting and doing something. You don't have that time to look at the map. You have to be constantly reacting. You know, you have to have a steady flow of information from your people and your squads. And I think a lot of it's showing. The coordination that NNG is showing with the air shows that they have good coordination. The timing that UxB is pulled down.
Yeah, I mean, what I was saying before was that they must have really good communication between their ground and air and their infantry, because we've been, like you said, we've consistently been seeing them support one another very, very quickly. And no matter where they're going, they're consistently getting there as quickly as possible, which I think is fantastic. Whereas UxB, like you were saying, maybe it's just the inexperience that's holding them back a little bit, but we are seeing them do some really great things and some great strategy. They just need to be a little bit quicker about making those decisions.
Yeah, but once again, they're suffering from the fact that they're not taking care of the Sunderers. So basically, NNG was able to get a big push on the A point and recapture Logical Survey.
Yeah, the follow through. You gotta follow through. You gotta get rid of their spawns. It has to happen if you want to make a push here.
Yeah, and NNG is being a lot smarter with their defense here, because they actually have a max and a few people set up on the bridge. So
yeah,
they're basically trying to protect all their angles.
Yeah, they've been utilizing the bridge here and there, but not to the extent that they are right now. So that's definitely a good move on their part.
Yeah, here we have the battle gal. He's saying hello there.
Hello, how are you doing? I'm a battle gal with lib support. That's painful.
Here's a couple bulldogs for lunch.
Oh, now I'm hungry. What are we having for dinner? Some rockets?
Yeah, rocket primaries.
I am seeing some interesting play from the UxB's light assault here on the bridge. He's been just poking and prodding these guys and distracting them, which is really interesting for me.
Yeah, and light assaults are a really curious thing in competition. I know initially a lot of outfits, you know, the ones that I've always discounted light assaults. But in 24s, I mean, especially once you get beacons, they're really, really beneficial. Because they can put beacons in strange places. They force people to look up, and people aren't used to looking up. So you can get a lot of back rages and stuff on people. One light assault can cause a lot of havoc.
And that's something to note. The high ground is so important, and utilizing that to your advantage, because people don't look up. It's not like a common thing that you see people doing, and that's why you often just get demolished by people that are, you know, above you or light assaulting.
Yeah, there's a heavy fight here on point.
And the C4 drops from the top. I mean, we saw some really great light assault play from UxB where they took out, you know, 2 maxes and a couple infantry and were able to just take out a whole crew of people that were coming through, and that was their frontal assault. So all that was left was a couple support guys, and they're like, uh-oh. And they're all running around going chaotic because there's a bunch of other guys helping support that light assault.
Yeah, and speaking of chaotic, this fight here at the crystals on A point is very chaotic. The thing that I found when you fight out these crystals and you don't have your people set up in the right corners and the right angles, it's very frustrating because it's really easy to get back raged here, because I mean it's like 2 or 3 seconds around each pillar here or each crystal, so you really have to cover 2 or 3 multiple angles. That's why I really don't like sitting on the crystals. But you know, you could run up the crystals and use the height advantage. There's a lot of things you can do here, but sitting on the bottom floor, you're just asking to get flanked.
I'm with you. I mean, I said that earlier. The crystals, hiding in them is just not the best idea in my opinion. I think taking the high ground of the bridge or these buildings, or you know, securing the area around those buildings, and maybe even some of the crystals and rocks that are near the buildings are great places to hide.
Yeah,
something that I've seen some people use is that the tower, the satellite tower. Some people I've seen sit up there or drop with their Reaver and just kind of sit there as a infiltrator, and that's a great spot as well.
Yep. And Mr. Battlegal is back to serve lunch once again.
He's just like, hey, what's up? I'm hanging out over here.
Yeah, and the NNG crew is pretty smart, because not only do they suppress the spawns, but they're kind of doing patrol over the base, making sure that no enemy vehicles, no UxB vehicles come in. So they're really suppressing, you know, more than just the spawns. They're doing a lot of work here. I mean, if I had to say on All-Star for this match,
It looks like UxB is maybe taking in a couple more aircraft. Some Reavers. Seeing a decent push here. Counter lib. Lib versus lib action. Oh man.
No, the thing here, okay, they took the NNG lib out, but my money's on him.
Both of them went down.
Respawning the lib right away.
Both of the liberators went down. It was a lib for a lib.
Yeah, but that's the benefit of surviving a long time is you get those resources ticks, your timer counts down, so almost right away you can spawn a lib, and I'm sure they're doing that right now.
But I will say that UxB utilizing some of these air pushes as distractions while they're pushing in on the A points are really great. But you got to give it to NNG with the gal drops, the consistent movement, the constant Sunderer pushes that they've been having. I think that one of the Sunderers might have just gone down.
Yeah, it's a bit scattered here on the point. UxB keeps trying to come into waves and they keep getting taken out. It's almost like wave 1 attack, wave 2 defend, wave 3 attack. So it's kind of coming in cycles here. But they're going to have to figure out a way to actually keep pressure on this point and force NNG back, either by taking out the Sunder or getting a spawn camp on that Sunder, because they keep losing seconds and seconds and seconds, and eventually they're going to lose the base.
Well, they've definitely spotted the Sunder. I've seen a couple Reaver shots getting put in on it, but I mean, they do have a lightning that's helping support that. It might go down if all of these Reavers. Yes. Oh my gosh, that is insane, Kid Riot. The Sunder is still alive and they took out 2 Reavers already. Will this third one survive?
There's
what are they doing?
A bunch of stuff coming in.
I don't really understand. They just kind of rushed in.
Well, either way, it worked. I don't know if that exactly what they wanted to happen as planned, but it worked out in their favor because they were able to resecure the point here, geological survey.
And when it comes down to it, that's the point. Is you need to hold the capture point.
Yeah, it was a bit costly, but it worked out in their favor. Unfortunately for them, there's still some NNG running around.
That's so many resources, though. That's 4 Reavers for them. That's cooldown timers. That's just, I don't know if that was a really good trade, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think a lot of people discount how important it is to take care of your resources.
Not only resources, but like the timers on those vehicles. All of those pilots aren't going to be able to pull another Reaver for a bit, It's a little interesting to see what the choices that they make to give up on some of these vehicles. And they didn't even get the Sun. Like, that's what bothers me. I wouldn't mind that they destroyed 4 of their Reavers, that they got the point, but they didn't even take down the Sunderer. Do we lose Kid Riot?
No, I'm still here, but the stream is frozen on my camera for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on.
All right. Well, we're just consistently seeing them push on A. They're gonna get it back. We see a couple UxG or UxB guys pushing in on the point, but they're coming here one at a time. And you're seeing them rush in. It's not gonna be pretty. I'm wondering if NNG is gonna continue with what they've learned, keeping the high ground, continually taking that bridge. So far, they're all just rushing back onto the point. So I don't know what their strategy is going to be for this.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where for everything good that UxB has done, they've always had like that. Their Achilles heel, and their Achilles heel is in both halves has been at the they haven't been able to take out the Sunders, not reliably anyway. I mean, not efficiently. I
mean, I haven't even seen a rush to do so. The only one that I've seen was I thought that Reaver rush was, I thought they were all going to try to take it out, but they just kept getting really close and getting hit by rockets. So, and lightnings. It was uneventful. Well, it was eventful
Torkz,
on one side.
Yes, sir.
The stream is frozen.
Yeah, we know. We're working on it.
Okay.
We have another major push being taken here on the A point by the UxB guys. Oh man, just what we were talking about with the high ground and utilizing the light assault. NNG is trying to do that, but they're continually getting caught right on the point.
Yeah, it's a really chaotic scrum here on the point. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of revive grenades went out. And it's really the whack-a-mole and basically who has the most revive grenades here. Because, you keep getting picked up, eventually your shields regenerate. And so by the time you pick up that revive grenade, I mean, you'll be set to go. You get some medics, you'll be healing, and then you're fine. You basically reset the fight with every revive grenade. So there's a lot of back and forth here on the point. It's basically up to anybody. And UxB is actually putting a lot of pressure. They were able to take out the rest of the NNG. So you could say that maybe NNG just ran out of revive grenades. They just didn't have enough people committed to this attack here.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're gonna do from here. Let's see. They still have that Sunder up. They're making a push with some more Sunders as well. They have about 3 Sunders on the way.
Galaxy and UxB is ready for the counterattack. They have a couple Sky Guards and a couple regular Heat Lightnings, looks like. So they were waiting for those Sunders to come down the hill.
Yeah, they actually have 4. They're pulling out another Sunder of their own. This is going to be interesting. And this Galaxy coming down to tank, but no, they're not distracted at all. They take down that Sunder.
Audio's live.
All right, here we go. There's 5 UxB Sunders. 3 of them are repair Sunders. 4 of them are repair Sunders. And this is reminiscent of the old days when repair got first put on the Sunder. You'd see a bunch of trains of Sunders. So they've opted for a frontal attack here, and they're pushing pretty heavy on Frostfall Overlook. Now the only problem is that geological survey is actually currently capped, and so they have tons of resources here, thousands of worth of vehicle resources sitting here on the road. And so, the big question is, and it looks like they have no choice, but all the Sunders are going to go down. So they basically gambled on trying to get these Sunders into good spots on Frostfall Overlook. And unfortunately, in this situation, it didn't pay off for them. It's just one of those gambles that they took. And I think they were hoping that with enough repair Sunders, I should say, that they were able to survive all the air that NNG has up.
And NNG is putting on as much pressure as they can to the spawn points here at Geological Survey Camp. So we'll see how this turns out for them. I know that there's a couple guys that are trying to come down here from the Sunder as well. Maybe they'll get the high ground. It's been a little difficult. I think that the UxB guys know where their Sunder is because they're consistently making a push that direction.
Yeah, and this feels almost kind of like watching a movie on repeat. The fights on this 8 point at Geological Survey have been pretty much the same. Like a huge chaotic mess. Revive grenades everywhere. Conks going off. Grenades went off.
Yeah, it's been very interesting seeing this back and forth. And also, we haven't seen the strategy for holding it and defending the 8 point hasn't really changed much. The only time we saw a decent difference was when we saw NNG take the bridge and try to hold, the high ground, which was working for them for a bit. But, UxB was able to make a huge push in, distract them, and, when you get a little distracted, sometimes you're not paying attention to your main goal.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it looks like the main media server has shot crabs for the most part off the show, so good job. We smashed it to the ground. There's 1 minute and 30 seconds left for the match. Keep casting if you'd like. For the minute, we're going to shut down the video stream for a second. There's 1 minute 30 seconds left, and it's 4-0 at the moment for those of you in the chat. NNG is winning.
All right. What are we going to showcase to them on the main screen then?
There will be no video at the moment, so just tell them kind of what's going on for a minute. There's another minute 15 seconds left in the match, so we'll do a quick post-game interview right after this is done.
All right, we'll try to tell you guys as much as we possibly can about what's going on. So why don't you take it away, Kid Riot?
Sure. Once again, actually, it was pretty back and forth there for a second. but UxB was actually able to resecure geological survey, and it's looking like they have a pretty good hold here. But there's a few Vanu peeking around the corner, trying to get some pressure on the point. And I think the reason we're seeing a lot of these fights really hovering around this point is that they're afraid of losing the cap. Because if you lose the cap, even that 1 or 2 seconds that you lose the cap gives the opportunity for the other team to cap ahead of you and leapfrog. So they're playing a little bit too defensively and conservatively, but I think most of it has to do with just them being nervous about losing the cap here.
Yeah, and NNG is able to take the capture point back. They are trying to hold it. They have a couple guys around there. They have some maxes supporting around, and they're trying to utilize a little bit more of the open area, which I don't know if that's going to be the best idea for them. Just because if you have a max just standing out in the open, they're more susceptible to getting hit by rockets. Although they're crouching, because crouching helps.
Yeah, and basically NNG's planning the routes here on point, hoping that they're able to develop a pretty good defense here. It looks like they basically put...
All right, the second half is done. Score
right.
is 4-0 for NNG. Congratulations, NNG, for the victory. We'll be back with you guys shortly for the post-game interview with the outfit leads. Welcome, Kai McMahon.
Yo.
All right, let's break this down from your guys' perspectives. Obviously, we had a very close match, first and second half. You guys were fighting furiously back and forth for the most time I was watching. It was a blast to watch. Let's start with Kai McMahon. What did you guys think about the first and second half and your opponents, NNG?
Well, we got to tip our hat to their air group because that was really the deciding factor. And I think the entire time the first half, we started off with kind of a disaster. We had a really bad start. We had some technical problems, and our Galaxy actually murdered half our group. But they you know what? They took advantage of that. They rolled on us. They had the momentum from the beginning, and they fought very well. They fought as a collective group. We were kind of scattered in the beginning, and I think that hurt us. Second half, I think we did a better job of staying together, but their air was the deciding factor. I mean, it's so hard to do anything when you're getting bombed from every which way, and they had collective drops coming in from northwest, southeast. I mean, it was just too hard to respond to. So I got to tip my hat to how they pulled that off against our air guys who are very talented. So I think they did a really nice job tonight.
All right, that's it's very kind of you. It sounds like a very glowing review of NNG's pilots. Now that being said, let's hear from NNG.
Well, thank you, Kai McMahon, for those kind words again for our pilots. It was for us, and being in the air group myself, it was very, very tough battle for most of the time. I know the ground guys were definitely calling us in for every strike we could possibly have. Round one, we were definitely trying to fight and push and push and push as hard as we could, and it ended up being fight at the biolab, and when our air guys had to get inside, it started to become a little bit more of a stalemate. Your guys' infantry is definitely what we would have to tip our hat to, and round two definitely reflected that. You guys just kept pulling air and sky guards and air and sky guards, and we had no opportunities really to really hit your infantry, and it was reflecting that we couldn't take the base. Our infantry guys were having a real big struggle trying to get in there. But ultimately, I felt it was a really nice match. It was great to fight you guys. It's always fun to fight you guys on live, and I had a great time. Hope you guys had a great time too.
Yeah, we loved it. You know what? If we did anything to help you guys better prepare to run the table, good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. Definitely did.
Well, it was good seeing you guys had a great time with it. I appreciate your glowing reviews of each other. It was very sportsmanlike. Did you guys have a fun time? Did it provide a good scrim for you guys? A good private battle?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, the base layout, the lattice line here that you've chosen is some very unique bases, and I mean, Geological Survey Camp is one of the toughest bases to attack and defend, so it was very interesting to fight there a lot of the second round, and I mean, just the distance between Geological Survey and Frostwild, like the whole geographical setting of the lattice lane was very fun fight, very entertaining.
Glad to hear that, guys. I'm glad that you're having fun. This is the point to this all. We start this up so you guys can have a good competitive battle with each other on a more private environment. No interference. I know NNG knows what it's like to have interference.
Yes.
on our earlier community clashes. This is being months and months ago when we first started doing this project. So
this was a much cleaner run.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, thank you everybody in the chat room. Again, I want to say thank you to Luperza and Kid Wright for casting tonight. You guys did a great job.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. It was really fun. Great fights.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the adaptation from UxB in the second half. It's good to see.
And thanks again to Jamal and Kai McMahon for your great effort, leadership, and your wonderful sportsmanship like attitudes. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Hope to see you guys more in the future. I know I will see NNG more in the future, and hopefully UxB will see you more in a future season as well.
We'd love to. We just need those recruits. So all those listeners, if you're interested, uxbgaming.com. Shameless plug.
I'm gonna just step in right here. Is from NNG saying that if you're NC on Matherson, definitely check them out. They're an awesome outfit.
Appreciate that.
All right. That being said, guys, let's kick off. You kind of already started what I was going to ask you to do, but can you start with your guys' information? Let's start with NNG.
All right, our information is www.nononsensegamers.com, and website's honestly beautiful websites done by our administrator Go Sheets. You can fill out an application if you're interested to join our PlanetSide 2 division, and you can send me a tell in game if you have any questions.
All right, and let's hear UxB's contact information.
We are at uxbgaming.com. You can also find us at Twitter at uxbgaming. Just reach out to any of our guys. You see our tag, feel free to whisper. Regardless of your faction, we have taken Vanu defectors, so we'll take more.
All right, that's their information for Community Clash. Let's start with Kid Riot. Let's give a quick info for you.
You can find me on Twitter at Kid Riot Gun or in game as Kid Riot. That's what the character I'm currently playing, and that's the best way to reach me.
All right, and you, Luperza?
You can catch me on Twitter as well at Perfect Storm, but the per part is PURR instead of the normal perfect. And you can check out all my other stuff at margaretcron.com.
All right, and my contact information is at ReachCast Torkz. The email for the show is ps2comclash@gmail.com or ps2comclasheu if you're an EU team at gmail.com. The Twitter for the show is ps2comclash. Our website will soon be ps2comclash.com. It'll be a central location for all those outfits interested in participating, and all you viewers for getting the up-to-date rules and everything else about the show. And that's it for us tonight. I want to say thank you again to Antithasys. He's a production lead. There is a very good reason why we lost the last 6 minutes, and it's not his fault. It's more to do with the data center involved with our running this, and I'll leave it at that. But thanks again for everybody tuning in, and I hope you have a good night. We will see you again next Wednesday, 8 CST.
Play more PlanetSide 2, free to play.
Take care, everybody. Have a good night.